Take two.
Hey everybody, welcome to Martial Arts Instructor Academy, where we go over everything you need to know to build an instructional team, how to train them, how to pre-frame the young guys to thinking and believing that they too could become an instructor, paying it forward, how to make sure that you have adequate and qualified staff on the mat to help you run your martial arts school.
Absolutely. That's our mission. That's our goal. And that's one thing that we've dedicated our lives to, and not just training the students, but training the teachers.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's one thing that we get caught up in as school owners and operators and instructors, the students, but how important it is to take time to set aside to train the instructors and also train the upcoming instructors because, you know, it's easy to get stuck where you have no help or you have some help, but they're not really ready to do a whole lot. They're maybe holding a target, afraid to talk or something. So we start training our instructors as soon as, well, we're always looking for them. I mean, I've got 12-year-olds that are like, I can't wait to work there. And if I didn't have 20-year-olds and 22-year-olds that were working for me that told me the same thing when they were 12, I'd be like, oh, that's great, but I know how to build them and how to get them ready to be on the mat in the future. So,
And I think it's approaching it with the right mindset, with
right.
the patience. It takes a long time to develop those skills to be a great leader and teacher on the mat. And handling 2 or 3 kids is one thing. Handling 30 or 40 kids is another, right? And that takes
And handling that while you're gone is
right.
even another level.
Even that's much different. And so I think going into that 12, that 13, 14-year-old, and approaching that with you're investing time into them, and it's going to take time, 2, 3, 4 years, if not longer, before they're develop those skills at a level that you want. And then, like you said, they have to get to an even higher level for them to be able to trust them with the mat while you're gone.
Yeah.
Right. And as leaders of a school, of an academy, as you well know, the hardest thing for us to do is to leave, to knowing that the quality of the mat is gonna be affected.
Yeah.
Right. And so so gaining that confidence and trust in your staff is crucial. It's huge. That way you're not leaving and calling every hour, or sweating going to sleep, or waking up in a panic. So when you really take the time to invest into these young people, and or your older students that are interested in teaching, it pays off. But yeah, you do have to approach it with patience, though.
Yeah, and I think that we talk about creating instructors to help us, but good grief, the benefit to the student, to be looked at as somebody who can, you're not just saying I teach leadership, you're actually creating a young person to be a leader. And no matter, I get a kick out of them flying off, and then coming back and saying, hey, I'm a doctor, hey, I'm, in the military, hey, I'm this, and I hear it all the time, how those little lessons that you taught me in my taekwondo class come to mind, as I'm working, and even adults, coming to me saying the same thing. So whether they become an instructor for you or not, you're doing them a great service by helping them know how to just handle themselves in front of others. I mean, because it is a rare skill set, making eye contact, knowing how to lift others up and things like that. So it's a benefit all the way around.
Absolutely. And so let's jump into, sometimes we kind of when we have a new batch of future instructors, or maybe some of your staff that has been with you for a while, we do a little instructor boot camp, right? Or a little instructor training. So so let's kind of touch on just kind of how we approach that and the purpose of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of ways that you can do a kickoff. I like to call it that, a kickoff boot camp for your up and comings, or it's also great for your established instructors too. It could be a refresher, or you can have them leading parts of the boot camp, which is a great, next level leadership training. Um, but you can do them in a short amount of time, like a weekend, or maybe just a full 12-hour Saturday, and have all kinds of stuff, meals and, camaraderie and all that. One thing we did this past summer was we did week-long boot camps, and it was in the morning, and they were done by 1. But instead of kids summer camp, it was instructor training boot camp.
Mhm.
So that's something that you can choose a time frame where you can set aside just that time just for them, and it's going to be an intensive, whether it's a 3-day weekend, whether it's a long Saturday, or whether, like we were able to do over the summer, every day through for a week, and they have different things they work on, just kind of immersing them, and all we're going to think about is how to be a better instructor or better leader. So a couple of things to do here, and this is if you are a member of our martial arts instructor academy, then you have access to all of this too. So we'll just go over the outline, but basically, set your date and your timeline. How are you going to run this? And then go ahead and put it on the calendar. It's just like goal setting. You write it down, it gets done. So say, okay, I'm going to do it like this many days, this many hours, and put it on the calendar. And that way you won't accidentally schedule something over it, or you can give the dates to the people that you want to invite, and they can put it on their calendar. So, having that notice. But the other thing is, once you've established the date, it's very important to then establish your goal of what you want to accomplish on teaching. So what are some goals that, when we have an intensive like this, what would be something that you would think of as an instructor would set a goal for their team?
Well, and I think it depends on what group are you working with. Right. So if do I have a large group of 12 to 14-year-olds that are just learning?
Right.
I want them to set goals to learn how to be a good assistant in class. What should they be doing while the class is going on? What should they be looking for to help the students? And and then how do we correct students? How do we correct and teach praise, correct praise, positive reinforcement? All these things that we go through. How to teach people to memorize, right? It's like a form, like a karate or taekwondo form or pattern. And so, in exactly how you want everything done, which is all laid out also in our instructor course, all the steps for that. So you kind of figure out what group you're working with, what are realistic expectations and goals for that particular group, and then you set your game plan from that.
Yeah, I know one of our last times that we had instructor training, we have a big facility here. Like, I don't know how high the ceilings are, but they're you can't really see them. Yeah, they're up there. So there's you've got parents in there, and you've got the students, and you've got different stations and instructors. So being able to project your voice, having charisma, keeping the attention of the kids in front of you, even though there's other stuff going on, that was one of the things that we needed to train on. So you can kind of look at your academy, look at your staff, what's happening, look at what you need, what could you use more of, and instead of expecting them to already know how to do it because they've watched you for 5 years, that doesn't work. You have to, just, it would be just like expecting somebody to be able to do the martial arts the way you do after just watching you do it for 5 years, as opposed to training,
putting the work in.
So you have to train them just like you would a white belt or beginning student. So once you've set your goal and you know when you're going to do it, put out your invitation list. That's the next thing. Say, okay, I'm going to do it on this day. Here's what I need. Now you go, and who am I going to invite? And it could be you look at that 12-year-old, intermediate level student, or maybe lower advanced student. then you say, I see there could be some potential there, and you tell them that, and you make it a formal invitation, I'm having this instructor training, and you talk to the parents and you say, I want, really be excited if, your child would come to this leadership training class that I'm hosting. Um, and that can be just a great confidence builder. Wow, my instructor sees something in me, and that alone plants a seed for, building confidence. And well, if they believe I can do it, then I must be able to do it. So take your invitation to this kickoff, this instructor boot camp, take that seriously and make a big deal about it. So it's not just, hey, we're doing a thing on Saturday, I want to show up. Make a bigger deal of it. Have it on the calendar, at least a month in advance, at the very least. Maybe you have it, farther, and then make the invitation formal and personal.
Yeah, and to that point, it can also, not always, but sometimes be used as a good retention tool. Actually, we have a student right now, and has been training with us for like 6 years, and getting into that teenage phase too, and maybe they're interested in some other things, and anyway, was considering stopping. Still loves martial arts, but just maybe wanted to pursue a few other things. Well, we brought up potentially being a leader or going through instructor training, and it just really reversed the whole conversation. And it's like, you think I could do that, and my answer was absolutely. You've been with us, what we're about, and I think that you'd be great helping others. And so anyway, now we set a goal for the next black belt, and we have a plan set out for him to start learning to be an instructor. And so anyway, yeah, just really, we kept a student,
Right.
longer, and which is great, because we just believe martial arts, the longer you do it, the better.
Absolutely.
For your mental health, your physical health, and we really truly believe in that. So anyway, help keep a student interested, and who knows, it might turn out to be a wonderful instructor and a great asset to the team. And he's going to pick up some amazing skills along the way.
Well, and I think that, that's true for a lot of things. You've been a part of this group for so long. You're like, oh, is this still something, that needs to be in my life? And even a parent might be thinking that, oh, they've been doing this a long time. Do they still need to be doing it? But then you put in them that spark or that interest in them, hey, there's more to this than just you coming to class. There's another side. And you're right, you can really inspire them to look at it differently.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to feel part of something. What better way to be a part than to be there helping the new students?
Absolutely.
So we've got, set your date, choose what it is that you need from them, make your invitations, get the students invited and get everybody excited about it. And then lastly, it would be choose your lessons. So we have more lessons than you could even imagine. You can start anywhere. If your thing is building charisma, you can go to lessons that help them get up in front and just have that upfront confidence. If your issues are more of I need them to know how to nicely tell a student they have to work on the move, as opposed to you stink, so there's lessons on that. There's lessons on how to talk to parents, all the different things that you could even imagine.
Well, and they're all, in our system, there's 5 levels, right? So I think assessing, okay, who's coming to this event and what level do I need to work on with this group, right? And that's nice with our system because it's already broken out for you. You just go through, and every school is different too. You can pick and choose. Maybe you need some from level 1 and some from level 2, and depending on the group that you're working with. And maybe you're bringing in your 16 to 19-year-olds that are just starting to lead classes, or they are leading classes, and you need to really go in depth on how to run a complicated class and how you should be managing the classroom on a more mature level, and the things that need to be happening, not just a class assistant. That would be a different lesson. And so yeah, you can, and again, that's all laid out for you in the different levels, and so you just see who's coming, and then you pick your lesson
Hmm.
plans that are already written out for you, and
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. I mean,
yep,
you're going to have your own flavor that you want to put in there and the
absolutely,
own things that are important. But as far as the meat of, how do I get them to, you know, do this? That's there for you.
yeah.
So, and then just to wrap it up, the last thing is rewards. So just like at the end of a cycle of training, a student earns a belt, or a stripe, or a certificate, whatever your awards are. Have the same sort of concept for your instructors.
Mhm.
They need to, even if it was that full Saturday where they were here all day, have a certificate at the end. You completed this training. We do, different schools do patches on the uniform, or we do collars, a combination of
Mhm.
both. Certificates, we have certificates that they earn when they complete the training. So
Mhm.
those things are very important. And then it helps everybody see that this is a program. It's not just, hey, I'm going to give you some of the best advice about how to be a good teacher. You have something that you're following, and you're taking it seriously, especially with the invitations. You've got this very well thought out training that you're teaching them, and at the end you're rewarding them for attending and doing a good job in there. So just make sure that you cap it off with that.
Yeah.
So,
Running this boot camp or the kickoff, that is just it's a great way to kind of kickstart the morale and
yeah.
their excitement for leading, and kind of get them rejuvenated, and keeps them challenged and on their toes. Because I like to put my experienced instructors out there too, and as an example, or also put them on the spot, and,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
test them a little bit.
Keep them on their toes.
And but anyway, it's a great event. It's something that we've been doing for a while, and we've seen just a huge improvement in our instructors.
Yeah, and I think that even if you're holding this for guys that have been teaching for a long time, we all need something fresh. We need something fresh, and you say, "Hey guys, we're gonna do this training. I'm gonna go over some new stuff with you," and they'll get excited about that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's always good to have something to do. And then also just mention, we do come out. Keith and I do come out to your school if you'd like us to do a kickoff for you. We can't stay a week, but we can stay a weekend. And we do that as well, so you can let us know if that's something that you're interested in.
Yep.
We are booking up for next year, so
Yep.
do it quickly.
Absolutely, yeah, we'd love to come and see your academy, and
Oh
and
yeah, I love to do that.
yeah, explain the system, and yeah, that would be great. Anything else to add?
I think that's it. I think set the date, decide what you need, make your invitations, and quite honestly, before you know it, you've got some real help on the floor.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. That
Yep.
simple.
Yeah, absolutely. We like simple.
We like simple. Yeah.
Simple is good.
All right, everybody. Thank you, and stay in touch.
See you guys.